Hi guys. In conjunction with the Odegaard Writing and Research Center, we've come up with what I think is a really killer assignment system. So let me tell you a little bit about that to introduce you to it. First of all, what kind of assignments are there? In this class we have three kinds of assignments: writing assignments, building assignments, and presentation assignments. In the writing assignments, obviously you write something. In all three of those kinds of assignments, we're hoping that you get to understand an issue and be able to explain it and work through it with other people. In the writing assignments, you do that obviously in some sort of paper where you do some research, you form an opinion about some sort of issue, and then you communicate it to people in writing. Presentations are similar. You look at some sort of issue, you form an opinion about that issue, and then you present it to people, but this time you present it to them orally instead of presenting it to them in writing. The building assignments are a little bit different. In the building assignments, you choose some technology, or you pick from the technology that we tell you about, and you find a way to use that technology, either by building something with that technology or finding out how other people use it, and then you go about explaining it to other people, to your peers, to the other students in the class. So those are the three kinds of writing assignments. What do we think the point of our writing assignments are? Well, first of all, this whole class is about forming an opinion. We go through all sorts of different issues in today's technology world, all sorts of different information systems, all sorts of different social issues that surround those information systems. And the point of this class in general is for you to have an informed opinion about the things that we talk about. So first and foremost, the assignments are there to help you form and refine those opinions. The lecture material, the videos, and the quizzes, that's all about getting background information. That's all about getting you up to speed on the issues. The assignments are all about performing on those issues, making sure that you have a chance to really think through something and really hone your opinion about it. The assignments, in addition, they're face-to-face work, where the lectures and the quizzes, those are really individual work. So the assignments really give you a chance to work with other students in a face-to-face environment where the remote environment isn't nearly as good. So we use assignments to give you a really good opportunity to work with the other students in the class face-to-face. Finally, the assignments, and I hope you'll agree with this as you go through the system, the assignments are designed to really get you to be able to improve on your writing and presentation skills. We've done a lot of work to make sure that the skills that you use in the assignments are cumulative. The more you do them, the better you get. And so let me work a little bit more with that. So I think you probably know this already, but repetition and really targeted, precise feedback, those are the keys to improving in something, and that's exactly how we've designed the assignment system. So repetition and precise feedback. You're all familiar, I think, with the idea of a rubric. A rubric is a set of criteria, as precisely stated as possible, to tell you exactly when you've done well. The way we're going to use rubrics is for that purpose, to evaluate you, but more importantly, to give you ways of being very specific about where your strength areas are and where your weakness areas are. So we spent a lot of time working with the Odegaard Research Center, so shout out to those guys. They were really awesome, and they'll be helping you throughout the course. The Odegaard Odegaard Writing and Research Center really helped us to develop the criteria that precisely tell you exactly what level you're at on a set of criteria. So how does that work? Each kind of assignment, writing, presentation, and building, has its own rubric. Every rubric has a set of categories. The categories are the mechanics of what you're putting together, the mechanics of the presentation or the writing assignment, the content of the writing assignment or the building assignment or the presentation assignment, and finally the questions. We'll talk more about those specifics a little bit later, but what I want you to know right now is that for each of those categories there are specific evaluative criteria. For example, in a writing assignment, there's the content area, so how good is your content, and under how good is your content there's relevance. To what extent is this content that you put together for this assignment relevant to the class and relevant to the criteria or relevant to the instructions of the assignment? And that's worth 15 points. So within that criterion, relevance, we have three levels: the red level, the yellow level, and the green level. Red level we call the newbie level, so you're just getting started and you're not quite so good at that. The apprentice level, where you're moving along and you're doing pretty well at that. And then the master level, where you've really mastered that particular criterion. And in this case the criterion is relevance, but it could be the argument, it could be any of a number of criteria. So we have a rubric for each assignment, Inside the rubric we have different categories: content, mechanics, and questions. Inside each of those categories we have specific criteria like relevance, and inside the criterion we have 3 levels of mastery: the newbie level, the apprentice level, and the expert level. So you can see that this is very precise, and we're trying to target as specifically as possible exactly where you're at with each of the criteria and exactly what you need to do to get better at it. Okay, so these criteria are there to really pinpoint your strengths and your weaknesses, and the way that we make these rubrics work is to apply them over and over and over again. In this class you'll do multiple assignments, and each assignment has the same rubric, so you'll see the rubric over and over again. Meanwhile, your peers who are reviewing you will see that exact same rubric, and they will use that rubric to review you and give you some suggestions for how to change to make it better. You'll do a second draft and look again at the rubric, and then finally your TAs will use exactly that same rubric to evaluate you. So by the end of the course, that rubric should be written on the inside of your eyeballs. You've seen it so much. Not only in your work, but when you review other people's work, you'll be seeing exactly the same rubric. Repetition over and over again of the criteria, combined with precise feedback on where your strengths are and where your weaknesses are, really should lead to improvement if you try. We'll talk a lot more about the rubrics themselves and about the mechanics of doing assignments, but what I want you to take out of this short talk is, if you try in this class, you should really be able to have much more to say about the technology that surrounds you, and a much better way to say it because of the rubrics that we've created.